All right, you probably heard technical analysis many times, and you think technical, like what? Like, are we programming or something here? But it's not that. When we talk about technical analysis, we're talking about charting, okay? Charting stocks, particularly with candlestick patterns, etc. And we really focus on the two main things we look at, our technical support and technical resistance. Today, we're going to really break those down. Hey everyone, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified as soon as we drop a new video. We're dropping podcasts, going live, these how-to videos, trade recaps, pre-market prep, tons from Jack, from Kyle, from Matt, from Bryce, from Huddy. We've got Mariana. We've got a bunch of amazing stuff on the channel. Ring the bell, subscribe to be notified as soon as we drop a new video. And then, if you love these videos, if you appreciate the content that we do here, click below. Definitely check out the StocksToTrade team. I'm lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen. I head up the team of all of our educators, and the StocksToTrade team is kind of our flagship product where we go live twice a day, every single day, getting into all of the nitty-gritty of day trading, swing trading, and even a little bit of longer-term type ideas too. So check out the StocksToTrade team. All right, that being said, let's talk about Technical Analysis 101, particularly focused on support and resistance. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a stock many of you are probably very familiar with, and that is AMC, one of the big meme stocks, which, by the way, speaking of technical support and resistance, think looking to reclaim a support level that broke last week. So drop me a comment below. You can see AMC is trading at 30 today. If this can close above 30 today, that's very bullish, and I'm going to explain why. So I'm curious. You know, this video, they get edited, they get produced, they get published. Typically, there's a week or two lag. So drop me a comment. What is AMC trading at, and did it base at 30 and grind higher, as I suspect it may? So that being said, I'm going to start with that first line at 30, and I'm going to talk about why I think this is a key level. So you can see the big run-up in AMC going back to this summer. Again, well, even going back to, remember last year, this was one of the big meme stocks back in January, going from 2 up to 20. And actually, I'm going to drop another little line right there, just to kind of show you what I'm looking at, and then another line. So you can see that after that big run-up in the winter, I guess, January, and then stock pulled back hard, ground back, and then for basically 3 months, put in a base at, I'm going to call it 8. It's probably more like 825, but remember, when we're talking these technical levels and technical analysis, it is more of an art than a science, okay? So one thing I do want you to remember is do a little bit of rounding, okay? Because we're looking at key psychological levels, the mental mind. So it isn't necessarily that important that it's the 802 or 797. Round to those whole dollar, half dollars, because those are the areas that the human mind keys off of. And just a quick analogy, I mean, there's a reason that you'll drive by and you'll see a used car for, you know, $19,999. Okay, there is a reason they do that, because it seems cheaper than $20,000, even though it's $1. You see $19,999, it's a mental thing. So that's why you'll never see $20,000 on a car window. They've been selling used cars for 100 years. They know what they're doing, okay? So round to whole dollar, half dollars. So I would call that support level at 8, and then the resistance level would be 15. And you can see this stock, all of those months, tried to break once, ground up, failed, tried to break again, and then when it finally did break, and this is the key thing I want you to look at the corresponding volume, okay? So remember, volume is your confirming indicator, okay? You don't want to buy below average volume or average volume breakouts, okay? So let's say this thing didn't explode on volume and perked over 15. If it was still trading that same volume that you can see pretty mediocre, just, you know, 30, 40 million shares kind of through the summer, which for this stock and in this day and age, kind of low volume. If it would have broke 15 on that, you'd be like, whoa, there's reason for concern here. You look for high volume breakouts. And you can see when it broke that one big day, what are we at? Just 700 million shares. Sometimes these volume numbers, on an aside, I know I tend to go off into the weeds occasionally, but these volume numbers, it's just like, sometimes you'll hear me pause because it almost doesn't compute. Understand, my friends, we are in the wildest, in the post-2020 world, wildest stock market in my 15 years. I mean, listen, 2007, I got started during the market crash. It was wild. I hear stories about the dot-com boom. I wasn't trading back in the, 99, 2000. I hear stories about that, and I've read about it. It's completely different. It is completely different now. See 700 million shares, and it's like, I have to double check. Anyway, the point is high volume relative to the 60-day average. That 60-day moving average is what we look at for confirmation on volume. So then once it breaks, big move higher. So to me, and hopefully to you, you're starting to see that bracketing idea. And if you're ever on pre-market prep, you see me do this hand motion all the time. We like to see, it is actually bullish when stocks base, when this thing bases and bases and bases. That shows you that there's buyer support. There's bidder support that are holding it above a key level. And then when it breaks that resistance level on volume, there's a good chance it's going to explode higher. And what happens is, and maybe you've heard this saying, resistance tends to become support. So even if you would have bought that break of 15, because of the corresponding volume, let's say it didn't go all the way to 75 and it pulled back. Odds are it would have based at that new breakout level because you've got all new buyers that lifted the bid and pushed it above that. So even if you weren't in the green right away, there's a good chance you're going to base. Maybe you're break even, maybe you're down a little, you're up a little, and then you wait for that next confirmed breakout. So that's why we love these key levels. So now let's fast forward to today, okay? Very similar type point, very similar setup. So now we're looking at 30. Okay, so 30 held back in July. It held again in August, twice in August. And then again, I get it that it didn't go all the way to 30, but you can see the stock pulled back 3 separate times. And again, I know it held at 34, 35, but we're rounding, we're averaging, and we're looking for those levels to base off of. Then, recently, just in November, support broke. Okay, bad. That's when you stop out. You don't buy. You avoid. Or again, let's say you were in this because you saw it basing. That's your signal to stop out. Okay, break some support, especially on a stock up from 2, to 30 on very dubious news. Remember, AMC is just a meme stock. These movie theaters are going to fail. The stock isn't going to be around in a couple of years. It's a technical play. It's a Reddit, Wall Street bets, meme stock. Okay, understand that. Now, the point is, we are approaching a reclaim of that level just a few days later. So that to me is very bullish because that level held for June, July, August, September, 7 months. 7 months, 30 held. It breaks, and now within a matter of a few days, it's reclaiming that level. So you've got 7 months of support and then reclaimed in a matter of days. That tells me the buyers are still in control. Okay. Now, if this thing was under 30 a month later, 2 months later, well, then at that point, you're like, it's all over for AMC. That ship has sailed. Meme stocks are over. We give up. Okay. But the fact that it reclaimed within a matter of days, very, very bullish. And if it can base above 30, that reestablishes that support level. So you would look to trade above 30, and then your next impediment would be, from a technical level, would be that 45 resistance level from October, November. So if this, again, I'm kind of curious, drop me a comment below. I wish I had a crystal ball. That'd be awesome for trading. But again, if this closes above 30, I think there's a good chance it could grind back towards that 45 level. That would be your sell signal. from a short-term time frame. Or maybe you start scaling out, and keep a small winner to break through that resistance level. But that is what we're looking at. We're looking to average those price levels and key off those whole dollar, half dollar key psychological levels. So now it takes time. It takes repetition. Hopefully I got you a little bit along. Again, check out the Steady Trade team. There's only so much I can pack into a 10-minute video. To me, and hopefully this helps you, because I can look at this and it all makes sense to me. But I've been charting every single day for 15 years. So I can pick out these support and resistance level. But it is a learned skill. You do have to spend some time. You do have to do it. And I think the best way to learn it is through repetition. Well, it's like that with anything. I don't care if you're trying to learn a new language. I mean, if you read or take one course on learning Spanish, I mean, you might be able to order a drink or order a meal, but you're not going to converse fluently, okay? If you do, you're some sort of savant, all right? You're probably going to have to take multiple courses, and you're probably going to have to practice for months or potentially even years to be able to sit down and converse in a second language. Technical analysis, charting, very similar to that. I think the Steady Trade team is the best way to learn it, because every day, twice a day, you're seeing my screen. We're doing all this type work. We're practicing that might be a foreign language to you now. We're practicing it every single day. Check out the Steady Trade team, and we'll see you on the next video.